Good morning, Steph, and good morning, everyone. What a night. Canadians have spoken, choosing another minority Liberal government in the first ever pandemic federal election.
There are still votes to be counted, but what we've seen tonight is that millions of Canadians have chosen a progressive plan. Some have talked about division, but that's not what I see. That's not what I've seen these past weeks across the country. I see Canadians standing together in your determination to end this pandemic.
Right now, the Liberals leading or elected in 158 seats, almost 800,000 mail-in ballots still need to be counted starting today, and those votes could alter a few of the tightly contested seats. A cabinet shuffle is also on the way, looking to replace several ministers who lost, including former Gender Equality Minister Mariam Monsef. So, big question here. What does another minority liberal government mean as we move forward? City News reporter Xiaoli Li with more.
The Liberal Party has been returned to power with another minority government. It's less than the majority some in the party will have been hoping for, but Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says it's still a clear mandate from the public that he can go ahead with his big plans to bring Canada out of the pandemic and on the road to recovery. When it became clear early on election night that a majority was out of reach, we heard Liberal House Leader Pablo Rodriguez insisting they never wanted a majority, just a clear mandate, which is just as well because they've received roughly the same amount of seats this time around as they did in the 2019 election. In his victory speech, Justin Trudeau emphasized that it's time to use that mandate to move ahead with his bold plans for the future. $10 a day childcare, climate action, and housing affordability. But he remains once again short of a majority and will likely need to find some sort of arrangement with another party, probably the NDP, an arrangement that the PM himself called unworkable just 1 month ago. In Montreal, Xiaoli Li, City News.
Meantime, the Conservatives will remain the official opposition, with leader Erin O'Toole promising that the party will build on its current momentum.
We must continue this journey to welcoming more Canadians to take another look at our party. More people voted for Canada's Conservatives than any other party, and that's a strength to build on. Our support has grown. It's grown across the country, but clearly there is more work for us to do.
O'Toole says he intends to stay on as Conservative leader, saying he called Trudeau to congratulate him, but also said his party will be ready for another fight in the near future. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh, he says he plans to fight for things that he campaigned for in his election.
I want to thank Canadians for voting, and I want to let Canadians know that you can count on New Democrats to continue fighting for you. As we've fought for you in the pandemic, when times were difficult, when people were struggling, when people were worried about their future, we were there for you. We fought to make sure people got more help.
And Singh is projected to be re-elected in his BC riding of Burnaby South. We are going to be hearing from the NDP leader again today, expected to speak in Vancouver this morning at 9:30 local time. And you can watch that 12:30 Eastern on our website, citynews.ca. Meantime, Green Party leader Annamie Paul says she is disappointed after losing her bid to win a seat in Toronto Centre.
They're sending back another minority government in basically the same numbers that we have seen before. And so we are now back to the status quo. I would say that we are back to the status quo, except that we are returning, unfortunately, more divided and more polarized than before this election was called. That is certainly part of the legacy of this election that I will say we shouldn't have had.
As for her political future, Paul says she will be taking time to chat with her family. This is the third time she has failed to secure a seat in Parliament. Now, there are some celebrations happening for the Greens. Mike Maurice, has been elected as MP for Kitchener Centre. He is the party's first ever MP to be elected from Ontario. Now, Bloc Quebecois leader Yves-François Blanchet will keep his seat. It looks like the party will be returning to Parliament with one less MP. The Bloc projected to win 31 ridings in Quebec When Parliament was dissolved in August, the party had 32 seats. The Bloc Quebecois still projected to remain in third place in Parliament. Now let's give you a look at how the election is impacting ridings across the GTA. With that, we join City News reporter Melissa Nakavali. Good morning to you, Melissa.
Good morning, Mel. Big election, but not much has changed in this area. The Greater Toronto area remaining a Liberal stronghold. The Liberals winning almost every riding in the area, including this one here in Toronto Centre. As you mentioned, it was a pretty disappointing night for Green Party leader Anna May Paul, losing to Liberal incumbent Marcy Ian. We're just live outside of her headquarters here, which was a pretty busy night last night. Now, other ridings of interest to talk about this morning, the Liberals' Anita Anand, who also serves as the Minister of Procurement, won the riding of Oakville last night. Liberal incumbent Bill Blair has also been re-elected for a third time as MP for Scarborough Southwest. The Liberals winning this riding in every federal election since 1988, except for in 2011. In the riding of University Rosedale, Minister of Finance and Deputy Prime Minister Chrystia Freeland was re-elected over the NDP's Nicole Robichaud. And reaction has also been pouring into this pandemic election. We heard from Toronto Mayor John Tory, who tweeted during the election, "I was encouraged by Prime Minister's commitment to continued pandemic emergency financial support for Toronto and all municipalities, as well as making needed investment in housing, transit, and healthcare, including mental health. We also look forward to moving forward with universal child health care." Also last night, we heard from Ontario Liberal Party leader Stephen Del Duca. He tweeted a message congratulating Justin Trudeau on this win, saying it was a great night for the Liberals across the country, receiving a mandate to move Canada forward. So it was a busy night here, Mel, but as mentioned, nothing much has really changed for this area. We're still seeing a large Liberal stronghold here. I'll send it back to you for now.
All right, that is Melissa Nakavali reporting live for us. Thank you so much for that. 6:12 is your time right now. We've got a lot to talk about, including the election's impact on the markets. So Mike Epple's going to join us right after this break with that.